know one thing? I'm going to just throw this out there, too. I seen Pouya getting pretty cozy in 6ix9ine's comments.
Really?
I seen Ski Mask liking. Not commenting, but liking.
What, pictures?
Liking the pictures, liking the videos. And here's the thing.
That's interesting.
I know 6ix9ine, and I've seen Scheme liking, too. When I have hung out with them, I'm putting them on blast. When I've hung out with them, like, before 6ix9ine became a snitch, Slump God always was like a huge 6ix9ine fan. Like, thought he was so funny.
He is hilarious.
Loved the music. Yeah, you can't deny it. But and same thing with Scheme. Like, they genuinely thought he was just fucking hilarious. They're still liking. It's interesting like to be thrown out there into the world.
I mean, I followed him as soon as he got out of jail and put the post notifications on because I was like, this nigga is about to do some crazy shit. It actually took him way longer than I thought in my head.
Yeah, he chilled for like a couple weeks.
Because, you know, he had to get the music video ready and the song ready.
I want to talk about the music video. When they were talking about how he had to get like a release to film in his backyard and shit.
There was nothing outdoor at all.
I thought it was going to be some like rinky dinky shit. And I was like, okay, why would I think that?
And now that you've seen the video from that girl's house, how the fuck did he think that he was going to be filming anything in the backyard? Number one, it doesn't look like there even was a backyard. It's just a pool.
It wasn't that big.
And number two, you got all these neighbors around who are obviously going to see you. Like that girl, she saw him the second that he went out onto that porch to take a picture.
He probably took like 6 pictures max, and they picked one.
Yeah, and I heard DJ Envy say this on the Breakfast Club because I wanted to hear what they had to say about him. But he said, he's like, you're not rich if you have neighbors that can see you when you step out into your balcony.
And I mean, you felt that, huh?
I mean, but real talk is like my house is not insanely expensive, but I could go out into the backyard and nobody's gonna see me. Him living there is like a fucking joke because that girl saw him right there. It's like I don't understand that. And the clip that they had of all his cars in front of like a new spot or whatever, that looked way more secure, but it still was not like
you could look in and see.
Yeah, like you could look over a fucking clear fence that you can see right through, and you got 5 cars that are right there that are in all his music videos.
You have 5 colored Lamborghinis.
You think it's because it's New York or like?
But Long Island has insane, huge mansions out there. Now, granted, they are really, really expensive, but it's like
maybe he needs to go spend his money on those instead of the fucking watches.
Dude, the label paid what, like close to $500,000 for that fucking billboard
where no one is
in
out.
Times Square.
In Times Square, did they?
Yeah.
But isn't that just done through Spotify? Because I noticed that Nav, Lil Durk, everybody has that same billboard. Yeah, but he had the
biggest one, like the main one.
He had the biggest one, but then Lil TJ had it the next day.
But the really funny thing,
those are expensive though.
You ever see a billboard in Times Square? Like they fucking change every 5 seconds.
No, for sure. They definitely.
And it's also like it's right. It says New York City Police Department right at the bottom. So the 6ix9ine image with that right there,
and it says it's sponsored by the New York City.
That's pretty funny.
And it says the king is back. Like,
and he's antagonizing all this shit so hard. He's like only following the New York Police Department right now on Instagram. I'm sorry. This is just so tasteless. I get how it's funny or whatever, but he's making it to the point where it used to be that I was just curious. I was like watching his Instagram just to see if somebody was going to do something to him. With all this shit, it's sort of starting to shift my motivation where I'm almost kind of like, you're really becoming the bad guy here. Really, it's kind of like you're the bad guy, and that means that I sort of have to root for the good guys, right?
He thrives off being the bad guy.
But it's to a whole new level now.
Agreed.
I feel like now his whole like his whole approach is different because he's not necessarily going out and directly attacking people back, and he's not like, oh, fuck you Meek Mill, fuck you YG, like blah,
but he
blah, blah.
He's still like trolling them, but he's not acting tough to them.
What he's doing is he's kind of playing the victim angle, and he's like he's trying to like like he keeps referring to himself as the rainbow headed kid.
Right.
Nigga, you are 24 years old. You are not a kid.
Yeah, and like we care about your fucking hair color. Your hair color really has nothing to do with why people don't like you, idiot.
There are so many people with face tattoos and with colored hair. It's like you can't use that excuse. Like they just hate me because I have rainbow hair.
The rainbow hair used to be an interesting part of his persona. That ceased many moons ago.
It's because he was like the epitome of like a SoundCloud rapper. He was the.
He was.
No. He really was.
Even though I would argue that like sonically, it was like a completely different thing than like Peep
but that was the whole. That was our whole argument.
He was trying to embody like this is the image of a fucking
he was like the
joke.
He was like the SoundCloud boss of like,
and that's what that was like the original meme. Was that he was like the SoundCloud final boss.
It's like this is who you have to defeat when you get to the end of SoundCloud.
Yeah, what was up with all that victimization though?
I mean,
Fuck
it's because he's trying to like spin the narrative and
make people feel bad.
He's kind of almost trying to make people forget that he was the one who put himself in these predicaments. He tried to use the gang personification to fucking boost his career, and a lot of the things he kept saying was like, yeah, I like this nigga was sleeping on the floor when I met them, and like I paid for their families to get out the hood and blah blah. But then you also turned and put them niggas all in jail and like took their fathers away from the kids.
All I can say is watch the Billy Otto interview that I did, because he like about that specific allegation. He says, yeah, Shotty was sleeping on the floor and you were sleeping there right fucking next to him. And it's like him saying like the dirty bloods thing and stuff. When you really hear Billy like contextualize that and talk about how fucked up that is, and like, you know, people take their gangs very, very serious.
Yeah.
So like the 9 Trey thing, like he went on Breakfast Club and said, I started Treyway. I'm the only artist that is Treyway. Then like Billy pulls out a book from 2013 that one of the, like the old school homies or whatever wrote that's called Treyway. And I haven't read it though. I'd actually be very curious to read that.
But we all know what he's trying to get at. Like he's trying to insinuate that they would not be anywhere. A known household name. Niggas would not be screaming Treyway if it wasn't for him. And he's right at the end of the day about that specific thing. But you didn't start this gang for sure, and you used their likeliness to gain traction.
He's making it seem like it was just a one-way street of them using him. No, it was a give and take relationship. You fucking use them to pretend like you were a fucking gangster.
And I mean, at this point, was he even pretending? It's like, my nigga, you were literally ordering hits on people and all this shit. But then when all the cards fold, then you
can back out.
Then you can back out.
My question is, how much people are going to hold off on playing him on the radio or putting him on playlists, shit like that.
Do you need it?
You don't need it, but I feel like he's going to be pushing, him and the label are going to be pushing so hard to get all of these sort of looks, and it's going to be crazy. Like, what if no festivals will book him because A, they don't want the risk of having to like basically treat this guy like he's the fucking president, because they're going to have to be so high security to get him in and out. And then also like, are they just not going to want the association? Like, I don't know if you guys saw this just came out right before we were doing this, but basically he was saying that he was giving $200K to some charity or whatever, and they rejected it because it's a children's charity. And they said that due to his previous actions, and that's actually pretty clever wording on their part, because that leaves it kind of ambiguous. We don't know if they're talking about the 13-year-old girl situation or if they're talking about the snitching situation. Presumably they don't really care about the snitching so much.
I don't think they're talking about the snitching.
But I mean, still, like the snitching thing is like, and the way he's gone about it, I feel like it's so distasteful that a lot of people who would never normally care about the snitching thing are really concerned about this. A lot of people keep trying to make the argument of like, oh, nobody who is signed to Rock Nation has the right to try to act like they're morally superior because there's a woman who works for Jay-Z who, I believe the situation is that she was with a guy who was a drug trafficker, and she was, you know, with him while he's trafficking drugs, and then they get caught and she fucking rats him out. But I mean, right? But she
how
works
is that
for
the
Rock
correlation?
Nation because the correlation is like, oh, Rock Nation employs a woman who was a snitch, a federal informant, so therefore they can't say anything about 6ix9ine. Here's the thing about her, which I know absolutely nothing about. I'm willing to assume that she probably did not put herself out there like she was this fucking gang leader at any point. You know?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And this
people are finding the most ridiculous arguments.
If 6ix9ine came home and had been like, you know what? I fucked up. I did something wrong. I want to atone for it. I want to be a good member of society, yada, yada, yada.
Nope.
I feel like we would all take it in a very different way. Instead, he comes home and says he's going to shoot people at the chicken spot. And it's like,
well,
we don't believe you.
He tried to throw a little glimpse of that into the live, but like, I feel like the way he went about it was so manipulative. Again, like trying to play the victim and just like, you know, and at the end of the day, like some of the parts I was kind of like, you know, feeling a little bit like, you know, it was like talking about the whole, like, you know, they're kidnapping him and trying to kill him and trying to fucking kill his mom and all that shit. Like some of that shit, like I understand. And he's like, why be loyal to them when, why be loyal to them in this court case when they weren't loyal to me on the street.
The thing is that argument at best only really applies to Shoddy and maybe Harv. And then like there's so many other people who are caught up from this. Not to mention that he was in court naming names.
Just naming random
Cardi
people.
B is a blood. Jim Jones is a blood.
Trippie
Yada,
Redd,
yada, yada. Yeah.
Also, go on.
But then, okay, so basically, like, I bring back to my point of saying, yeah, like you can do this victim role, but then like he's trying to lead the conversation into he's trying to steer the conversation by like, you know, completely ignoring his part of it and what he did and how it even came apart. You know, go ahead though. I'm sorry.
No, and then we're not gonna forget. Like, I mean, when you hear, oh, they're fucking my baby mama, like
they were all gangbangers.
Yeah, you know,
I mean,
like,
shit, you never know.
Shout out Sarah. I pretty much know.
He's creating this picture in our head that like, you know, these people are doing like terrible things to him, and like
he was like, I was on the road getting money for us, and you're fucking my baby mama.
And it's like, and you know, not that I know Sarah, but like just watching, you know, interviews of her, I don't think she's the type of person that was fucking shoddy, and that was not, you know, verified source at all. Yeah. And we're not gonna forget, he was like beating her.
Yeah, and allegedly raped her too.
Oh, fuck him. Yeah. Fuck him.
I mean,
I'm so sick of talking about him. Do we have to come every week and talk about him?
One op out of the way. Well, that's the interesting thing is going to be able to see how interested he's able to keep us.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we have a week till the next show. Yeah. Are we going to spend another 56 minutes? I mean, I know we weren't talking about him the whole time, but
I hope not.
We'll see what he has to offer over the next week. Yeah,
because we kind of had to.
I think it's like pretty obvious that his feelings are a little bit hurt about the lack of support he's getting, and it also like the donation getting rejected. I mean,
that must hurt.
And him having to move houses 3 times or whatever.
Yeah.
In 2-3 days.
The soap opera is fun.
I do love that he tried to shout out Drake, Tory Lanez, and Bad Bunny.
I wonder what they think
and then was like, you niggas could never.
Right. He said that. He's like, oh, Drake, you could never. He looked kind of like finicky and like nervous when he was saying that. Because
he said shout out to Drake.
He keeps trying to beef with Drake. Because you see today, he posted the views from Tootsie Slide and the views from his shit. And Tootsie Slide's at 87 million and it's been out for like a month or whatever. And his shit is at 100 million, which I'll be honest with you, I don't buy it.
Let's go ahead and tap into that part. 150,000 comments within the first hour or so.
They all said the same thing.
Just to play devil's advocate, though, if you are like a little troll kid that would buy him like, you know, fake comments to make people like us think that
it could be coming from somebody else. I guess that's possible. Here's the thing.
Just to play devil's advocate.
We all know that major labels buy fake plays.
I don't know if these people know
comments, fake likes.
You think that they're that stupid to buy the same text comment? It's like, come on, you have to be a little bit savvier than that.
Right, but this is my thing, is that we all know that major labels do it all the time. Nobody is denying that 6ix9ine is very, very popular and that he was going to get many millions of views no matter what.
But here's
the thing. If that song gets 10 million plays or 5 million plays, then that's in league with a lot of other rappers, and then his whole value proposition starts to dissipate because nobody in the whole rollout of this song has been talking about the quality of the song. We tried. It was very difficult. It's like
couldn't even talk about it for 5 minutes.
Everyone is talking about the fact that he got 2 million Instagram live viewers. All I know is every time I go live, people are accusing me of having botted fucking viewers. And it's like, I got like 2,000 viewers on the stream and shit. And it's like, people are accusing us of that. It definitely happens. And if anybody is scummy enough to do it, it's him. So that's I guarantee you, I'm willing to acknowledge that a ton of the views are real,
definitely real, yeah.
And that I don't doubt that at all. But all I'm saying is that right there, he's setting a precedent where it's expensive to buy a million fake, or not a million, but like many tens of millions fake views.
They would dish out that money for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if they. Like, Academics was the one who reported and said that said Billboard was close to $500,000. So if they spending that type of money on a billboard, come on, man. It's like you said, it's like if it had regular views of fucking, 10 million, or I mean, that's not regular, but
right. But it's like 10 million is like much more like, okay, we expected you to do that.
But it's like, it's like it's setting it up. It's setting it on a pedestal of it being like the most groundbreaking views.
That's why I'm saying that it's going to be very interesting to see how the song does on other formats, because there are a lot of metrics by which you can judge a song that you can't fake at all.
Mm-hmm. And like also, like Spotify, Apple Music?
I mean more like, well, because those all like culminate towards like the Billboard chart or whatever. But like basically, if and really it's going to be about the long tail, because you can buy a shitload of views at first and stuff, but then like how is that song still performing in 4 or 5 months, and how much more music is he going to be able to drop, and how interested are people going to stay? And I hate talking about this because I know I sound like just a fucking hater, but it's like I just have a hard time, if that song is like what he has to offer, I have a hard time imagining the fans staying that interested for song 4, you know?
I mean, he's just doing a great way of captivating and turning all the attention back to the music. I feel like he's very genius with that. It's like he didn't go live, he didn't say anything, didn't do anything until the song and music video was ready.
He was supposed to go live today, but I'm not sure that he did.
Who's the head of YouTube again?
Susan.
No, isn't it?
We got to get
or YouTube Music. Is it Lucian?
Oh, Lyor Cohen.
Lyor Cohen. Oh,
you think Susan is like on the phone with 6ix9ine? Like, we got to get those views up.
We got to get those views up.
I wonder how he did on the trending page, and I wonder if Lyor Cohen is like with the set enough that he would like hit up Susan and be like, listen, we got to keep this kid off the trending page.
Yeah, he's like, we don't condone. Lyor's like, we don't condone snitching.
Yeah, my Israelite accent there was really not working, but
that's what you were going for.
I was trying to.
That did not sound like.
But you know what Lyor Cohen sounds like? Yeah, I
he's
fucked
like,
it up. But.
He's like, you know.
See there. Yeah.
I'm really good at.
You only said one word, but that was a lot.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't think of anything else he would say.
Oh my God. Hey, this has been another episode of the No Jumper Show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want to support, like, comment, subscribe, and go to nojumper.com. Get yourself a kendama or a t-shirt or something. Appreciate y'all.